Welcome to a game between RiposteR here in blue, starting with an engineer commander and a amphibot factory. And Chomolungma is mirroring that with a engineer commander and an amphibot factory. So we're looking at the mirror here at the start. Chomolungma requests this replay. So yeah, let's see how Chomolungma does it. He puts his commander on high priority, seems pretty good. In this matchup, you have a lot of like space to work around, but you also kind of wanna, if you can conquer the middle, you can kind of like send out forces in any direction. So controlling the middle is good. You probably wanna move expand there and go there and take it. But yeah, you probably want to spam ducks for quite a long while in this match, because yeah, you want to keep raiding and prevent an enemy from taking the side expansions. That's the way I like it. So yeah, you're going for a pretty raider heavy start, and yeah, you're forcing the enemy to expand slowly, and RiposteR is playing pretty safe, also making a lot of raiders, because yeah, there is a lot of open terrain to cover. So yeah, you get just a trade-off there, but yeah, you're forcing RiposteR to make some defenses here, and that's good. And his con isn't expanding, so your raiding is basically paying off, and yeah, well, it's pretty even basically. Meanwhile, you're setting your commander on high priority to expand and take mixes. So yeah, I think controlling the middle here is a good idea. I like that. Yeah, definitely like that. Get the duck there, that's nice. And yeah, this is the easy expansion to go for after you take this. So yeah, I like that. Yeah, and you put expanding con on high priority as well, that's good. You can see you're pretty much mirroring each other's movements here. RiposteR made a bit more energy, but are a little slower out on the field. Yeah, you're playing pretty greedy, but with radar in a position like this, you can be pretty greedy, and if you just keep spamming ducks, the enemy can't really like surprise you with anything. So yeah, this is not that greedy, I'd say. It's pretty good. Like, RiposteR built 2 turrets, you built none, and yeah, you haven't run into his turrets, so yeah. It's nice. You can also try to be sneak with amphos here. Yeah. Now you just need a bit more energy and you're golden, and you're setting up your caretaker here. So yeah, you're spending your metal. You run 3 ducks into 4 and you killed, lucky for you, you got 2 at least. So it could have been worse. But yeah, you lost 3 and killed 2, so yeah, not the best trades, but it's some risks. But you also forced enemies check the enemy expansion so they can't expand unchecked, so yeah. Yeah, so yeah, you can see you're pretty much mirroring each other here. Yeah, reclaiming on the high ground, making some defense in the middle here. Yeah. Building solar down here could be risky if the enemy pushes out with bulkheads and boys. Bulkheads and boys are pretty strong in this, like, they're strong against light porks, so you want to be careful with how much light pork you make. RiposteR has, that's a pretty good choice. Like, you can build, that's a pretty good choice. You can select the factory and then select like boys or bulkheads to build directly at the fronts. Boys and bulkheads are slow. Scallops are also a candidate, they're slow. Lobsters also slow, but yeah, you usually don't need them. So yeah, you can see that like, boy can easily kill a lotus turret. So yeah, I would suggest selecting either boy or bulkhead in a matchup like this. Bulkhead is even slower than boy, but yeah, not by much. Also, this middle pawn is kind of OP because you can see the regen that you get. This boy gets 40 HP regen. I think it can go up to 60. Yeah, it can go up to 60 if this water is deeper. So it gets really OP. regen here in this little pond. So yeah, you can see kill the load turret, and then yes, go back to heal with 40 HP heal. So yeah, boys have really OP heal, so really good choice by RiposteR to select a boy here and to be able to build it when he needs it instead of having to waddle all the way from the base there. So yeah, having ducks is there's not much point in having ducks as a unit because they're fast in a way. You can make them at the base and they get in their position in no time. Yeah, you have some limpets here, and that's a good combo, limpet combo. Yeah, and now you choose to go for bulkheads. You could probably have gone for bulkheads a bit earlier, like when you see your pork lines meeting, if you both go for the middle like this early in the game, yeah, you can probably like start spamming boys and bulkheads earlier. Well, not spam. If you go for bulkheads, like 3-4 is enough, and you can kill all like pork, you can repair them with your commander. Oh, and this looks like a pretty good trade. You get 2 good limit hits, and not all of your units get slowed, so yeah, you get a pretty good trade here. And meanwhile, yeah, you're fighting downhill, so RiposteR has chosen to set up a position here and a bit of a downhill, so your bulkheads get some extra range from that. And if anyone wants to counter you with boys or bulkheads, they're gonna get a bit less range, so yeah. This is a good defensive position with bulkheads and boys fighting downhill like this, and yeah. RiposteR would be foolish to invest too much into this position, and you build a stinger on the high ground, which is gonna be harder for the boys and bulkheads to counter. This attack, yeah, seems pretty good. You take the chance and find an opening, and you're gonna get some mexes for it. But on the other hand, you have been a bit slow with expanding over here. There's some defense here, but not much. On the other hand, you have been greedy and getting away with free expansion over here, so that's kind of lucky. Yeah, since you met in the middle, you seem to be both focusing on the middle. You could have been focusing more on the sides, because yeah, now you have 4 bulkheads and you can easily push down the stinger. You have build power. This is actually a lot of build power, and you're accessing a bit because of it. So now you choose to go in against the stinger. You have not 4 not fully healthy bulkheads. And you kill a stinger and lose 2 bulkheads. Yeah, that's a decent trade. Yeah, if you would have on full health, you probably only lost 1. Now you're a bit careless. I guess you're still microing up here. So yeah. Yeah. So you lose 1 bulkhead, not for any purpose there. Small trades, and you're a bit, yeah, since you're reclaiming here and repairing, you're stalling a bit, I guess, excessing a bit with energy here. If we look at metal excess here, yeah, you should have been building some, I noticed that before, that you were stalling a bit. You should have balanced your economy a bit better. Like you can see, you were ahead in metal produce, so you expanded faster, but you were not able to actually use that metal, so you got a bit behind the metal use actually, even though you had more metal produced. So if you had balanced it a little bit better, yeah, you would have benefited from that. Yeah, and this is greedy. You could have gotten a radar here or here, would have been nice. Maybe one here, could have been nice to have one there. Now you're trying to expand into the enemy with the load turret, which is I mean, you're both focusing on the middle here. You could have been focusing more on ducks. Yeah, I don't like this tank foundry. Like, what do you really need in this situation from tank foundry? Boys pretty much counter all of the tank factory. Like, boys are really good against tank factory. They outrange ogres and minotaurs. Pan blitzes get slowed and they have a struggle to get in. You can send a limpet towards the blitz and they get slow. Kodachi struggle to deal enough damage. Cyclops can kind of skirmish against boy, but if it gets slow, if you use a lobster to throw them in, you can easily stun it for cost and like slow it and kill it. So yeah, there's basically only emissaries that you go for here that have like some purpose. And when bulkheads are around, you can easily push downwards in this position. Like if you just push this position instead, and you're losing a bit of units there. I'm just gonna watch this. Getting decent trade, yeah, keeping pretty even here. But yeah, now you get some limpets and your ducks are gonna struggle. This is quite a lot of units, so these ducks should probably retreat in this situation, because even though they can sort of dodge, they don't dodge well enough here. Yeah. So... yeah. So yeah, I don't like the choice for emissaries, and yeah, you try to go for ducks again. You could have been... I think you should have been messing with this area earlier. Like, he didn't mess with your area and not this area, you were focused on the middle, but yeah. Getting this tank rounder and this artillery just basically loses you all momentum. The enemy has... you kill one stinger with that. More boys, a few bulkheads to push this position would have been fine. You're even like downhill, so yeah, if the enemy tries to push back, you get a bit of range advantage. If it's boys versus boys, you get some range advantage, it's good for you, and yeah. So that, yeah, that really made you lose momentum there. And it's really making you lose map control here. I don't like Nimbuses either, they're kind of low impact units. They're kind of like artillery, but whenever I see them, they tend to be low impact. You send them out, the enemy builds some AA, you shoot a bit at the AA, and then you're forced to retreat Nimbuses and repair. And then you're gonna struggle to actually deal damage. Like their damage might look impressive, like 180 DPS, but you can see you're even struggling to kill a single Lotus turret here for a time. They have decent splash, but they also miss a lot. They can't hit mobile units that well. Yeah, they're just an underwhelming unit. Like, look, the enemy built a Razor here, and yeah, now you basically gotta retreat with the Nimbuses, and you're gonna struggle to actually... yeah, you're killing the bulk slowly, but yeah, you can see that you have invested 1,500 into these Nimbuses, and yeah, now you gotta go back with one and repair them, and the Razor's is gonna keep this area safe. Yeah. Now you have to repair. I guess that's the point of having this position in the middle, to repair. Could it work with Nimbuses if you have like a repair station like this? Yeah, but you can also be using a Revenant. Revenant takes a bit more micro. But you're also investing, like, this is like also artillery, so you're investing doubly into artillery with both emissaries and a gunship plant and Nimbuses. So yeah, you basically spent 3,000 for this artillery switch. Meanwhile, yeah, you can see the enemy went Lico and you didn't repair your Nimbuses and they're dying to a little AA. How much AA did they build? Yeah, you force him to build like 600 in AA and you're still losing your Nimbuses without doing much damage. Yeah. And here you can see you're thinking you're catching the enemy commander off position, but yeah, his commander has actually upgraded into 12D build power. So yeah, that's one Lotus every 4.5 seconds he builds a new Lotus turret. So if you don't have enough to overwhelm it, yeah, he builds just enough in the nick of time. If this would have been glazed, you might have been able to surprise him better, because yeah, they have more DPS. Also, Limpet would have helped to slow down the commander and the Lotus turret. So yeah, you're still struggling here. You should be chasing harder with your commander. Instead you're trying to build more Lotus turrets. But yeah. So yeah, that was a failed count snap. But yeah, if you look at like total value here, it starts dipping here. And yeah. And you're finally gonna get this commander. Yeah. So yeah. Is Archer worth building in this matchup? They're a little better at countering ducks than other things, but they're also slower, and ducks can still overwhelm and limpets can slow archers, so I rarely think archers are worth making. Maybe if you want to protect your grizzly, like you want to prevent your grizzly from getting overrun, then archers can be good with combination with like a limpet or something. If the ducks are forced to bunch up when they're trying to deal with the grizzly, yeah, then archers can work. So yeah, what else is there to say? Yeah, your economy was decently balanced. You get more income there at the beginning there, but then you kind of fell behind in metal use. You stalled a bit on energy there. You were a little behind in energy, and yeah. This is also later in the game. It will really matter in this stage, but yeah. Making a line of wind generators is pretty good, like this. So yeah, I'd recommend usually this once you get past the raider phase. Depending on the situation, raider phase can last quite a while on this map, so it can be a little bit risky to create a line of winds like this. You choose to go for the wind and tidals, and yeah, that's also fine. It's more, the income is more averaged out, but yeah, the high ground wind is pretty good. 0.2 minimum, it's random, so you probably don't want to make full wins, but yeah. But yeah, making a starting a wind like line like this in the middle of the game is fine. It's pretty good. Maybe you can even morph the geothermal. It's kind of hard to get usually, so it can be worth morphing. Yeah. Grizzly, is Grizzly good in this matchup? It depends. I think if Boy together with the Lobster can throw it at it, if the front lines aren't too packed, like if you catch a Grizzly out of position, you can throw like 5 boys at it and follow up with ducks and counter it. But if you're like a little bit behind or the front lines are too contested, yeah, then maybe a Grizzly can be good to snipe stingers. Like stingers, a lone stinger is easily countered by a few bulkheads, but if there's too much stingers, yeah, maybe a Grizzly is good to get and counter them. Yeah, as I said before, your artillery didn't pay off in this game. I don't like the switch at all. It's basically only an emissary that's useful in this matchup. Otherwise, just build more boys, and boys counter the whole tank factory. I don't like going for nimbuses. They're too low impact usually to make, like you build one, the enemy makes some AA and you, yeah. I've yet to see a good use case in 1v1 for them. Since AI counters them, or not counters them, but prevents their use cost effectively so easily, and you have to repair them and everything. Yeah. So yeah, you can see you started excessing there a bit when you were energy stalling, and then it got a little bit. Then it continued a bit when you started reclaiming. So yeah, you want to balance your energy income a bit better. And you both didn't try to really raid these positions, like here and here. You were mostly focused in the middle, and yeah, you could see how the single boy that the commander made for RiposteR really made a difference. It was able to kill your turtles for free, and kill your turrets and annoy you and heal in the pond, and yeah, it was really good. I think it's a consider, like, when do you want to start making boys and bulkheads in this matchup? Yeah, you don't want to build too much light pork in a situation like this, because bulkheads will just walk over light pork, like lotus turrets and pickets, and stingers are decent, especially if you get them on a high ground. They're pretty good. They're decent. Like you put them on a high ground, like here and here. That's a pretty good position, because then you're at least on the high ground, and anyone won't get range advantage. I think you could have exploited that earlier if you had like pushed enemy. Like RiposteR was down here, and it's a bit of uphill. You get some extra range, and if you just micro your boys and your bulkheads and boys, then you can really use that advantage and just go back. And before that, you can set them to auto retreat if you want on like 30 or 60%, and it will retreat automatically. If you set a, you can set a retreat zone here, for example. This is the retreat zone, and you had a lot of build power here, so you could have repaired your boys or used a pawn to repair them. You did lack a bit of energy tiles, you would have struggled in that department, but yeah, you should really have tried to punish RiposteR for trying to fight uphill here. Instead, it got the better of you, and yeah, managed to kill your few the few bulkheads that you had. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend overbuilding on bulkheads. Like 4 or 5 is usually enough. If you want more, yeah, why not in this matchup at least? Why not just make boys? Like if the enemy switch to a grizzly, your bulkheads are gonna be almost useless. Like the enemy can go in and skirmish, and go in the line, go in the side and skirmish against them. So yeah, making 4 or 5 to push the enemy back. Maybe if you expect to lose some, yeah, not more than 10. Then you can as well make boys and use lobster to throw them in favorable situations and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, it was really the factory switches that really put you behind when you started switching to other factory. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. So yeah, those are my tips for you. Good luck and have fun.